If I'm being entirely honest, I'm a little bit shocked that it took this long to get out some scrims, but finally, it looks like most of our pro teams are about to start scrimming on a daily basis. And in the very first scrim breakdown video, we're hopping on board with SCUMP as he and OpTic Chicago, still sounds really odd to say that, go to battle against the New York Subliners with Asim. So Hydra's not quite here yet, so they've been playing the last couple days with Asim as their fourth. So you have Formal, you have Dashy, you have Envoy, you have SCUMP for OpTic Chicago, you have Zuma, you have Asim, you have CLAYSTER, you have Mac for the New York Subliners. So as we hop into this one, we got about 30 seconds left inside of this first hardpoint. It's about to rotate over towards P2. So for the first time, if you're new to my channel, I go ahead, I break down what's happening as it progresses from one hardpoint to the other. And just so that everybody knows exactly what's happening, as this is really the first time that we've broken down team scrims in this game, I want to make sure that we're 1000% on rotations, what the situation's going to be as we move from hill to hill. So with 1 second left and it's rotating to P2, I'm going to take this opportunity for the first time to bring up our brand new minimap where we're going to discuss the rotations for Hardpoint on the map Crossroads. So as we're looking at this, we have Chicago that got this initial spawn over here on the right-hand side. As they went towards P1, they were basically able to contest, and that's pretty typical of most first hard points, no matter which map you're talking about. As it rotates towards P2, obviously this is the spawn that you want to have because it's closer to P2 and you get that initial time. Once the time starts, you have 3 routes you want to lock down. You want to make sure you're watching the bottom of the map, go up top, watch this bridge push, and then obviously up towards P1. So one person in the hill, more than likely one person watching each of those other cuts. As we progress here, New York did have the spawn on the opposite side of the map. So New York is spawning here. As they try to get towards P2, they're probably going to push either bottom of the map or over towards bridge, unless there was somebody up towards P1 who was just on that hard point as it came to a close, in which case then they'll try to run through this door or hit the flank up top and try to get those kills as they push forward, as OpTic Chicago pushes in towards P2. One thing that I will say real quick is just if Chicago has this spawn and P2 becomes contested, so this becomes a contested hard point, that back spawn is no longer that sticky. So what that means is rather than OpTic Chicago spawn here, the game is actually going to take them and spawn them up towards the top of P1. So what happens here is you'll have, if that becomes contested, Chicago spawning top of P1, you'd have New York spawning by P4, and now you have a bottom of the hill, top of the hill scenario where New York would be approaching from the bottom and Chicago would be approaching towards the top. So with that in mind, let's go ahead, let's hop back in and watch how P2 progresses. When it goes to P3 and P4, we'll break both of those down so we know exactly what's happening here, and we'll just go from the first to the second set of rotations here. Again, if you're new to my channel, it's pretty customary that as we get into the second set of rotations, so when we get back to P1 and back to P2, I go ahead, I turn up the team comms so you guys can hear exactly what's happening and learn from their team comms, learn from their communication. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to cut? How are they trying to rotate? And all of that. So right here, you see New York actually got inside of P2. So Chicago's now spawning out over towards P4, which is where New York was at before. If you're New York, this probably isn't the best case scenario because as you're going to see here in about 12 seconds when we break it down, P3 and P4 are actually on the opposite side of the map. So as it rotates over, you want to have the same spawns for P3 and for P4. So this is looking really good for Chicago to go ahead and build their lead quite a bit. So again, I apologize. I just want to make sure we're 1000% on this. So let's bring up our Crossroads hardpoint map again. What you're seeing right now is you have P3. So Chicago is now actually getting these spawns back here. So as it goes towards P3 and as it goes towards P4, Chicago has this initial time. This is the spawn you want to have if you're talking about sets of rotations, right? If you have that right side spawn to the right of P2, that's fine, but that's only going to allow you to build time inside of P2. If it goes to the opposite side, when it goes to P3 or P4, now they can really stack up some time. So as they're inside of P3, they're going to be watching this cut here. Also, you'll probably see main AR sitting over here towards this cliff's edge, watching this push here. And then the other 3 players would just be watching this push from mid-map or you would also want to watch this push through bridge. So main AR down towards the bottom of the map, all 3 other players watching the bridge and the push through P1. With that, let's go ahead, let's hop back in. And as you saw there, I know we didn't really talk about it, but I don't want this video to be super long. As you saw right there, P4 is also on this side, so the strategy is the exact same. The only thing that really changes is as it goes over towards P4, you're likely to see a push on the top side of the map. If you can get to the top side of the map, there are some boxes up there that offer some really good head glitches. It would offer an advantageous spot for any mini-Rs right there, exactly where SCUMP just naded. So if you're New York and you're trying to take over those spawns from P3 to P4, if you can push out that top side of the map and then start to get towards P4 that way, that offers one way in which you can flip out that spawn. Because if you can get kills in that area and then start to move over towards P4, that's going to take away that spawn location. Whereas the other option for P4 is to push from the cliff and just jump up from the cliff's edge over there. But if you do that, you're not going to be pushing out the spawns. So it looks like the spawns just flipped here, or P4 just popped. So again, let me just point this out one more time. Again, I apologize. I just want to make sure we're 1000% on this. So exactly what I was saying here is that if you're Chicago, you're getting these back spawns, you're going to have control of P4, right? If you're New York and you're spawning out over towards P2, no matter which spawn you're getting, you can elect to either push through the bottom and over towards this cliff. You can jump up here. There are barrels here. You can also jump up in the back. So you can basically jump up anywhere on this cliff. The issue with doing this is that if you get up and you get a kill inside of P4, say you even push towards P4, Chicago's still going to be spawning right here. So if they're spawning there, you're not pushing out that spawn, which is why I said if you're coming from P3, you're probably going to be on the top side of the map anyways. So as that's happening, push out the top side of the map, get to these boxes here. If you can get here with your main AR or your flex and you can start to get a couple kills in this area, and then you push over from this side, so you push over from this side of the map, that's going to allow you to push out this spawn that exists right there, and now you'll have taken over those P4 spawns. So that is what I would do if I was rotating from P3 to P4. We'll see if this changes. Me personally, if I made the spawns for this map or the hardpoint locations for this map, I would have flipped P2 and P3. That way you're kind of flipping and ping-ponging back and forth across the map a little bit more. But it is what it is. We'll see if the developers change it. I doubt that they will. I haven't really even seen much criticism in terms of where these are located as of right now, but that just seems to make the most sense for me. So reason being, as you're watching P4 here, there's 20 seconds, and essentially it was kind of a tie ball game after P2. Chicago had a little bit of a lead, 10, 15, 20 seconds, but they've been able to stack time inside of P3. They've been able to stack this time inside of P4, and now all of a sudden you've got an 80, 90 point lead. And even if Minnesota, I saw a seam right there and I just said Minnesota, but even if you're New York and you're able to get or at least split time inside of P1 and get the time inside of P2, that's still not going to be enough for you to take over the fact that Chicago was able to be dominant on the first set of rotations inside of P3 and P4. And right here, this is a really nice job because most of the time in pro scrims, when it comes to P1, that's pretty contested. You don't want to count on winning a P1 hardpoint no matter what the map is. And New York just did a really nice job right there of getting those first 30 seconds. Now, we'll see if they're able to get back in and contest here, if they're going to give up the second 30 seconds, because that's not what you want to do. It's completely counterproductive in terms of you got the first 30 seconds, you give up the next 30 seconds. That's obviously not helping your cause very much. And the other thing that's not helping your cause is it looks like Chicago is able to flip. I haven't seen anybody come from this left-hand side of the map here for SCUMP, so I'm not quite positive where, and just like that. So you can see on the mini-map where those red dots are coming from, where the enemy's coming from, and it did look like New York went ahead and spawned out there. We'll see what ends up happening as this progresses. But as I mentioned earlier, we've talked through each of the 4 hardpoints. We've shown you the routes you should take, how you should take over certain spots. So I do want to go ahead and give you guys the opportunity to listen into their communication. I'll still pop back in with you and explain the most important things that I'm seeing as it progresses throughout the second, and ultimately third sets of rotations here. But without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's listen in, hear exactly what they're talking about.
Oh, another one here. I'm trying to stay up.
I got two.
I'm laying in the back. I don't know if you saw me. He's on the back boxes. Back boxes.
I spawn here.
Back boxes.
I'll
Tom
watch right.
dead.
I'll watch right.
Yeah, hold right. I'm picking up catwalk room.
Yo, right. He's just sitting top right room. He's hitting right. Mac hitting low right.
Okay.
He hit
He
low
can
right.
go front hill or low right. I spawn left.
Yo, that's not
You
Mac.
picked it up.
One more right. Window.
I have your left. Over
That's not Mac. There's two there.
I got one catwalk.
I spawned out.
Yeah.
I got one. One more in the back of me.
I'm playing
I'm playing my life.
They should
I'm
be spawning street.
I spawn deep.
Yeah, back. One shot, Mac. Back right.
Yeah, he's in the deep
Yo,
back.
top cover. Your cover 100%.
Here.
We spawn
Wow,
here still.
absolutely.
I'm flooding time, Matt. Just
Max
try to
still in
hold the
the back
back.
of
Yeah.
I spawn out front. I have your front door. Ace him hurt.
Mac still in the back.
So that's a little bit of a tough situation right there, is that Mac was actually able to push the bottom part of the map. Mac was inside of that P4 hardpoint, got that kill on Scump, and when he came up, he still had that top P3 spawn because they were able to hold that down with their ARs. Now, since then, they've been pushed out, they've been taken over, so as it's rotating here from P3 to P4, looks like now New York is going to be set up, and the way that they were able to do it was pushing through the bottom of the map, getting a couple kills on Chicago as they were spawning above P3, and now they're in good shape to go ahead and at least try to claw back a little bit as it goes to P4 here.
Close.
Nice. See me back right.
He's deep.
Mac dead.
Nice. Grab time.
Behind me front.
And this is the exact break that I was talking about on the first set of rotations. Remember, I said if I was trying to break this, I would push from the top of P4, because if you're able to get a couple kills, you can push forward, you can take over those spawns, and then you would be the team that's getting those spawns. It's just they were able to get the first wave of kills. They weren't able to get the second wave of kills as they tried to work up towards and inside of P4.
Mac weak.
I'm hitting this shit.
Go ahead.
He's close front hill.
Mac, two in hill. They're both frame and cat. One was one shot. You spawned the left.
I don't see him here.
Yo,
He's
one guy's
top
hitting
left
outskirts.
still.
One guy's going new, I think, from right.
Top left?
I think one guy's going outskirts new.
Top left. Max.
Yo, one guy's
Absolute. I got him.
One guy
Okay.
new, I think.
Nice,
I'm
too.
holding.
Cat room dead.
You look just holding that.
They're still spawning back there.
I have initial. What's open?
I'm spawning too.
The back, Mac.
Left's open.
Back left is open. Back left's open. I have a trophy on you, though.
I'm looking low left from hill.
I'm watching Mac right. They're gonna be over left side of the map.
One more in window room.
I
They
have
team
open, I have
killed.
open.
He's in tank room.
I'm watching your tank room.
Yeah,
Main your door.
Yeah, hold my outer, Matt. Hold my outer.
I got
He's
it.
on time.
Outer Clay.
I naded
Ason's
outer.
there, weak.
Dead,
Clay,
I'm
Clay's deep back.
absolute-
Clay's deep back. Weak. Far right.
Top
Nice.
cat.
Far right, Clay.
Clay, we kill.
I pushed him
Dead.
to their
Good
tower.
upset too.
He's hurt middle.
Dead.
Nice, good jump.
I'm hitting over you, Seth.
Nice two-piece there from Scump.
Tower dead.
Nice. I'm playing your back right, Seth. You can stay
I'm
down.
gonna hold bottom mid from.
Gotta make sure they don't get around left. Make sure they don't get
Yeah, I
around
have left. I have all left.
I have your right, Seth.
Yeah, left, Clay.
You can go
There's
your
two
close, I
left.
guess.
One more left.
I have to back up, Seth. I have to
Right.
back up. I have right. I'm watching
They're
back
wall
left.
banging me time. I have to get out of time, bro.
Yeah,
He's
fine,
close
fine,
time. He's close
Gonna be
to
low
the...
left of me, guys. Low left of me.
Yeah, we
Could be our
flipped. We
cat, guys.
flipped.
So just real quick, if you're talking about the second set of rotations here in Hull, Chicago really didn't do all that great of a job on any hill. They were able to split on P2. They basically split on P3. They got spawned out for P4, but they had such a good first set of rotations that as it went from P3 to P4, they were able to set up inside of P1 and get like 30 or 40 seconds inside of P1 on that third set of rotations. So they built themselves a big enough 100-point lead in the first set of rotations that they could be a little bit more selective towards the end of the second set. And now that it's in the third set, they only need 10 points to win. You got to figure if they don't get it here inside of P2, they have spawns for P3, so they'll finish it as it flips to the opposite side of the map, which is where they're spawning right now.
Deep back on the sandbags, Clay.
Yo, one shot cat. I hit him with a nade. No flag.
It's all good. Make sure we hold this side.
Is
We
that
win. Hold
cat?
this side. We win. Hold this side. We win. What's everyone doing right
Back
now?
door. There's two at old.
I have right. I
picking
have
up
right. I have
left,
right.
Left.
One more at all. I'm
You
getting
play-
out of
you
here.
play Mac?
I'm leaving this.
Max back right on me.
Deep left.
Seth, you holding cat? You holding cat?
Yeah,
or
I
what?
got it.
Don't want deep
Okay.
left.
Max still
Wait,
back
Seth, I
right.
can hold cat if you want to grab time.
Okay.
Yo, can you walk? I'm playing kind of weird left. Yo, one's
Yeah,
left.
he's
on me?
left. He's coming left. Two of them.
They're hitting left, guys.
One guy's left.
Another one left.
Nothing right. Need to get time.
Oh my
Yeah, I'm on
god.
time.
I have your carry. I have
One more
carry.
left. One more left.
Another massive two-piece right there. Three-piece from Scump. I don't think there would have been enough time there for New York to do anything had they finished those last couple of kills, but that was a nice way to end it right there from your Scump. And you just saw with the scoreboard, 37 and 22 for Scump. He led in damage, led in score, led in kills. Unfortunately, when it comes to the scoreboard for Treyarch, you can't see the kill deaths of every player. It drove me crazy back in Black Ops 4. It drives me crazy now, but you can kind of see how players did based on damage. Envoy had 4,800, Formal had 4,400, and then Dashy had 4,200. Clay absolutely slayed out. I can't see a Seaman, Mac, and Zuma because Scump's camera's in the way, but up here, CLAYSTER had 6,400 damage, so that dude absolutely went off, was the best player in the lobby. But if you're new around here, this is what I do every single day. I take scrims like this, I break it down, I show you the rotation, show you why one team beat another. So if this is your sort of tea, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be uploading a video every day throughout the entirety of the Black Ops Cold War CDL season. So with that, leave a like. It really helps out the channel. Thank you guys so much. I am so excited for year 2 of these competitive breakdowns. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.